Hey, today I am going to be doing my September wrap-up. In September I read technically 9, and we'll get to why that is technically later. I think it was a fairly good reading month. I mean, removing the technicalities, it would be still 6, which is good considering September was really busy for me. Even more busy than August. And I'm excited to tell you guys about what I read. To get into the stats, I read 2 contemporaries, 1 mystery, 1 nonfiction, and technically 4 graphic novels. I read 1,398 pages, 5 middle grade, 2 YA, 1 adult, and in terms of forms, I had 5 ebooks, 1 audiobook, and 2 physical books. Kind of need this to properly tell you about these books. Starting off the month, I read When Life Gives You Mangoes by Corinne Gettin. This was an ARC I received from NetGalley, so thank you to the publisher for accepting my request. This one is a middle grade contemporary. The reason I requested this one is because I was super intrigued by the setting specifically. It has a island setting, so obviously it's going to be kind of tropical, kind of different than what I've usually read. A lot of books are set in small towns, you would not believe it. And the setting did not disappoint. I really liked the setting, and I think it really added to the story, especially to certain plot points and freedoms. But I also really loved the characters. Everybody was so developed nicely, which I thought was really cool. It's set over a summer, and we follow this girl whose name I've forgotten, I'm so sorry. But she had lost her memory from the previous summer, and you can kind of see her just dealing with this throughout the book, and we kind of ourselves figure out what exactly happened that made her lose her memory. But we also just have her dealing with her friendship that's kind of going to shreds and pieces, and also this new girl who comes to the town who's from New York, and their growing friendship. So, you know, you got opposites there, and it's a really lovely story. It's sad, but I think it's just as equally uplifting and lighthearted. You should definitely check this one out when it comes out. And then I listened to Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. This is a book originally published in Polish. Wow, this one was great. I loved this one. We follow our main character, whose name I don't even really know. Well, obviously they say her name in the book, but like, I wasn't really paying attention to names because there's so many. But we have her as main character. She's like 60 years old. She's very eccentric and very passionate about her passions. She is an animal activist. This book talks a lot about animal cruelty because she lives in a small town where they source everything directly through poaching, but also a lot of people in the town just hunt as well. And so you just see throughout this book like her telling people this is bad. This book starts off with her neighbor Bigfoot being found dead in his kitchen, and it just sets off her trying to figure out what happened, or her more so trying to convince people of who did it, because nobody gets listening to her. And that's really another main theme of this book, is that everybody gets to have a voice and you can't just pick and choose who you want to listen to. You just see her being constantly ignored and being called crazy, like a crazy old woman throughout this book, and it's super frustrating because obviously as you are seeing from her perspective almost, you are rooting for her and you are wanting for everybody to just freaking listen to her, but no, everybody's obnoxious and pretentious and doesn't listen to her. Like I said earlier, it also deals with animal cruelty. I will say that if you are sensitive to kind of, I don't know, gory descriptions of things, there are some descriptions that I think won't fit well. As somebody who can't read about animal cruelty and who doesn't read about books in general about animals just because of something I have, I thought I handled it well, but of course everybody is different. This book also talks about the justice of one's actions. Overall, it was a lovely book. Then I read her library book, Kings, Queens, and In-Betweens by Tanya Botejo. We follow our main character. Once again, do not remember her name. She is in love with her best friend. You know, you got that gay trope. She's in love with her best friend. Her best friend is very straight And I do not hesitate to say that anymore. She is very straight, okay? She's obviously trying to get over this because she just doesn't want to hang on to this anymore. And she ends up she gets kind of looped into the world of drag. And she meets so many queer people. She gets into this community that she's belonged in because she lives in a very straight city or town as well. And it's just it's a coming of age story, you know? And I really liked it. I thought it was enjoyable. Although there were a couple of, I don't know if they were intentionally unfinished plot lines, I still did really like it. I gave it 4 stars. It's a really good debut novel. Next, I read All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson, and I read this one as an ebook. I read this one for the In the Margins. Oof, my back! I read this one for the In the Margins book club. I think my favorite part about this, more like not talking about the obvious of enjoying about hearing George's story, but I really enjoyed the accessibility. I talked about this in my reading vlog. I really liked the accessibility to young adult readers. I feel like a lot of the times somebody could say something is for young adults and still kind of write it in a little too hard to understand way, but it is very accessible. It's very inspirational, if you will, as well, having a lot of messages, which I think was the approach Johnson wanted to take with this. I went through all the emotions. I mean, you had a happy story, one essay, and the next it was very, very heartbreaking. I think if you haven't read this one yet, please do. I think it will add something to your life, and even so, if you just want to expand more on educating yourself, this does have a lot about the Black experience, and specifically being Black and queer, which I think a lot of people should read more from. I don't rate memoirs, by the way, because I feel really weird about rating or putting a numerical value on the way that somebody tells their own story. But just know that I really enjoyed it, and you can assume where it would go on the scale otherwise. For the one book I have to show you, Wonderland by Tommy Kovac and Sony Liu. I got this one from the library, as you can tell by the gloss, and oh my god, the art in this, first of all, I think my favorite part is the art. It's so good. The colors and everything, it's literal perfection. This follows Mary, I think her name is. Yeah, Marianne, who is the White Rabbit's housemaid, and kind of just an expansion on her story, as she often gets mistaken for Alice, and it's just her going through an adventure in Wonderland, and it's really cute. I loved it. It was super quick to read as well. I read it in one night. Mary Ann is a very quirky character as well. She fits perfectly into Wonderland as if she did live there, which she does. Did I already show you this page? And I really like this one. If you just want a really cute graphic novel to read, Wonderland is definitely for you. And then finally, I read what the technicality of this month is, but I read books 1, 2, and 3 in the Marceline Gone Adrift. It's a graphic novel. They made a complete bind-up of it, but for some reason they're all in separate parts. So I read those. I really liked it. I don't have much to say about them. Marceline obviously is my favorite Adventure Time character, and I thought this one's lovely. It kind of delves into the relationship of Marceline and Bubblegum. I don't know when this is set though, so I don't know if what exactly their relationship is yet, but it's so cute! It's so cute! Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you plan on reading any of these, excuse me. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.